What can luxury real estate agents learn from the guy who recruits the high-rolling heavy hitters, otherwise known as whales, to Las Vegas? You're about to find out. Please welcome Senior Vice President of Customer Development for MGM Resorts, Lawrence Altschul, to the stage.
Can you go to the next seat? I'll sit here. He wants me to sit. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What an exciting business you're in.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you. It's very nice to be here. I hope everyone's ready for me after having a nice lunch.
Well, think about it. High net worth, right? This is all, whales are it. Whales are it to casinos. Whales are it to us. All of us want the high net worth whale. This guy does it for a living. So not only does he have to hunt them, he has to keep them, he has to keep them excited, he has to continue the relationship even without selling a property. So tell us how you go about doing that, and I'll tell you a story after.
Okay. So basically what I am is I'm Senior Vice President of Customer Development for MGM Resorts. MGM Resorts is the largest gaming company in Las Vegas. We own 10 resorts. I am based out of the Bellagio, but I represent our 5 luxury brands, which are Bellagio, MGM, Mirage, Mandalay Bay, and Aria City Center.
I didn't even know they were all related.
There's 5 others, too,
Wow.
that I didn't even mention.
So how do you decide who you give those clients to?
That's what I do. I listen to what my customers want, and then I match up what I think is the best fit that will make them the happiest and give them the best experience.
Wow, but that must be a very interesting job to figure that out and to actually, the detail of it must be fascinating.
My life is details.
It is details. Okay, so you're a very detailed guy.
I have to be. I have to listen and pay attention to everything going on, so I'm always a step ahead. Because if I screw up one little bit, my competition can take a guy that can lose $1 million in a night.
And when's your birthday?
I'm a Virgo. We're getting
Virgo.
personal.
Yeah. Virgo is very into details, very, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Virgo or Taurus, I would have picked you for. Okay. Now we finish with that. So I am not proud, but I did hunt for whales for Donald Trump for his casinos, which obviously failed. But it was an interesting job because we found that our ultra high net worth clients were the perfect match for him. So, you know, we would often hand them over. He would take actually very good care of them until they lost their money. And then we had a bad reputation afterwards. So how does that translate with you? What happens if a guy guy's usually a guy, I know, loses a lot of money at a table one night? What happens to you?
I smile. Again, I pay attention to the situation. If the guy's really upset, then I kind of put on the wowsy, woo-woo face.
Right.
I have to be sensitive to their needs to understand, because each player is different. Female, male, high net worth, gambling with money that, you know, is family money. It all depends. So again, if I just pay attention to the details, no one's happy when they lose. You watch a ball player after he loses a game, he's not ecstatic. You just lost $1 million.
You're not ecstatic.
You're just not.
No, even if you have $3 billion, it doesn't matter, exactly.
No, but certain guys will lose $2 million, write me a check and go, God, that was so much fun. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Go, guy, yeah.
I love you. Come back next week.
Exactly. And what makes you different than your competition, than the other people doing this for the other casino outlets, do you think?
Which I've already mentioned, I think my attention to detail, but my level of service. I stay on call 365 days a year.
All legal, right, the services?
Every service I do is legal and morally acceptable.
Okay.
You really were in the business. But I think my service levels and the way I establish relationships with my guests is, I think, what differentiates me from some of my competition. They just want to get them in, ram, bam, get the check, done.
Exactly.
I'm about building it for the future. I want to watch them get old. I want to get old with them. I want to go to their weddings, their divorces, their...
Yes.
So
exactly.
It's about
So
relationships.
it's a long-term, you're looking at everything as a long-term relationship, which is a really good way to look at most business relationships. Because even if something goes wrong here, you can make up for it and then go on to here and get to next client from them, right? Because you're only 1 degree of separation from the next guy you're going to meet.
I never know where my next client's coming from, so I try to treat everyone with respect and dignity and hope by giving more to start. it will pay me back in the end.
What's your best fishing ground?
Casinos.
Really?
Other casinos.
So you watch people gamble?
I don't, in Las Vegas, I'm kind of a marked man, so I'm not allowed to go in anybody else's casino unless I'm going socially with my family or a date.
Your family or a date?
Yeah. But if I go with a player, I have to get permission from the, you know.
Okay.
You know. All right, I won't even touch that.
Go ahead, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
So, like I leave tonight when I'm done here. I'm going to take some people to the Dodgers game, have dinner with a client, get on a plane to Miami. I'm at a player's wedding tomorrow night. I take another $1 million player to dinner on Saturday night. I fly back late on Sunday. I'll probably golf Sunday morning with another player. I'll fly back, be in the office Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday I leave for Australia,
Oh, my favorite place.
where I'll visit 3 different casino companies and look for their business and then give them a liaison to send me business.
So do you also go fishing for example, the Packer family in Australia, or you're limited to
No,
win? No.
I handle players from all over the world. And Australia happens to be my territory. I handle exclusively for the company.
I see. So that's fabulous. So you get to travel the world. You get to have wining and dining with your dates and your family and everyone else. Everything's happy.
It's a good life.
Exactly.
I
it's a
wouldn't
good
trade
life.
it for anything in the
Exactly.
world.
So the wedding you're going to,
Yes.
what are your plans? Do you have plans? You set it up. Okay, I'm going to this wedding. I know it's a high-profile wedding. There's at least 5 marks I want to meet in that room. Or do you not make it such a formal plan and you just go with the flow?
I go with the flow mostly, but if I know I'm going to be at something where I know there's a target I'm looking for, and I've already done my homework, like part of this trip is to meet a new $1 million guy that lives in Davie, Florida.
Davey?
So I got a lead on him. I've done my homework. Now with the internet, it's easier to get a little more scoop. But you still got to make that relationship and see that you blend and that he likes you and that you can establish something to talk about. Because there's certain people, and that's why we have lots of people that are hosts, because not everyone likes the same type of person. I'm more of a sophisticated professional.
Virgo.
Looking for that type of player. And guys from Dallas and I don't usually get along great.
Right. No, that makes sense. You should
So-
look for your match, right? We should all look for a match where it's easy to relate to them, right? Versus
Exactly.
you're having to morph into someone else just to relate to them.
Correct. If they like something that I'm just not educated on or don't feel comfortable, it's not going to be a good fit.
Right. I mean, you can hand it off to someone who maybe
I
you
will
work
try to
with.
find someone to handle, unless they're a monster, and then I'll be a chameleon and do what I have to do.
So what would you say were some of the biggest challenges you've had in either reaching or keeping one of your targets? By the way, I like that word. I'm going to establish that for real estate, target hashtag. One of your targets, and what did you do?
How did I obtain them?
Yeah, what was a challenge in obtaining them?
Well,
And how did
the
you
hardest
overcome it?
part, again, is you don't know if a person's a player. You know, there's probably lots of people that you all deal with that are very wealthy, but do they gamble? If they said gambler on their head, my life would be so much easier. And I'll go to events, and by the way, I'm making all of you my deputies, so if you find someone that does like to gamble, you'll be able to send them my way and make yourself look really well along the way. But we don't know who gambles. So I could be in an event where everybody there is worth, you know, $1 billion or more. But who's willing to play, I don't know.
Right.
But the
So
best
it's a
way,
different level of deciphering even than we have. It goes even more granular.
much, because your guys are looking for a net worth. I'm looking for a net worth that has the appetite to willing to risk and likes the rush. You know, a lot of people ask me, how do you sleep at night? You know, you take people's money, and I'm like, no, I don't.
No.
I give them experience. They can win, they can lose. I sleep great at night because I know I service them every step of the way. And at the end of the trip, they're winner. I pat them on the back, and if there happened to be a bad trip, they write me a check or whatever, we settle up. But it's business. It's just like every other business. But I establish relationships where I'm happy for them when they win. I feel down for the guys that I'm really close to when they get beat pretty bad. And, you know, that's the relationship. That's the bond you form with people.
Do you get a bigger bonus if they get beat pretty bad?
No.
No.
No, because then you're rooting for every person who walks in the door. Just
To
dump your money.
lose, yeah. Just
know.
leave your money on the
Yeah,
table.
because then
Yeah.
you're always trying to, it's just not a good environment.
Are you familiar with the games yourself? I mean, do you know how to play blackjack well? Would you be a good gambler if you were gambling?
Probably not. I'm too calculated.
So it's not necessary.
No.
So you don't have to know a game in order to get people who know the game to want to play with you.
Right, like a lot of people that have started in our business may start as a dealer or a floor person and then work their way to being in the hosting division. I've been in management my whole 29 years. And I've moved around. I've done inside, outside, which I mean, I ran the New York City office, which meant I worked on the outside, sending customers to the Caesars properties in those days. I moved up to Tahoe. All 4 of my kids have been born in a different city.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Same wife?
Same wife.
Okay.
No longer, but same wife.
Oh, that's the secret, no longer, okay. That's where the date comes in. Yeah, yeah.
Every
okay.
once in a
We're
while,
little
I'm lucky
confused,
enough
yeah.
to get a date.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you know,
But there's good fishing at casino for dates.
I wouldn't know. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah,
busy
yeah.
working, I just wouldn't know.
Yeah, okay. So do you have a coterie of sports events and things like that where you entertain these people besides? You're not just bringing them to a casino and saying, here, go to this table, right? You're wining and dining them, taking them to sports events,
It
taking
could
them
be
to dinner.
anything, anything they like. Great story. One of my sons is in the back.
Hi.
We were at a UFC fight for his birthday, and we were online to go to the men's room. And of course, at a UFC fight, the women's room is wide open, but the men's room is a line. And my son looks at me and goes, "You know who that is?" And I'm like, "No, it's some kid." He goes, "That's the kid from One Direction. Am I right? I think it's One Direction." And I go, "Oh, let me." So I text my friend who bodyguards for One Direction. I go, "You in the arena? I'm here." And he's like, "Oh no, I'm not with him tonight. I'm with Mick Jagger." I go, "That's cool." He goes, "Why don't you come to a show?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not into the Stones, not really. Thanks anyway." He goes, No, really, I want you to come. I want to do something for you since you're always doing something for me." And I said, he goes, "We're going to be in Mexico City next week." I went. And this is while me and my son are at the fight. I'm like, let me think about that. Now I'm WhatsApping my guys in Mexico going, "Hey, if I come down and we get to meet Mick Jagger, would you guys want to go?" They're like, "Amigui, yes."
Yes.
So now while I'm sitting there, just from waiting in line in the bathroom, I'm now booked a trip to go to Mexico next Tuesday.
Wow. And that's what really Gone Fishing is all about, right?
8 players, and I went to meet Mick Jagger, saw the Stones. I'd never seen the Stones before. It was wonderful. It was a great experience.
Wow.
Never been to Mexico City before. It was great.
Did you bring bodyguards?
They had bodyguards
Yeah.
for me, which was great.
Yeah.
And then while we were there, they said, "Why don't you send the plane in, and we'll go back with you?" I said, "Even better."
Sounds cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting right on the tarmac
Stones,
is great. Planes?
planes.
Yeah, bodyguards.
And they won $2.8 million, and it turned out from a great weekend to
Wow.
it was a rough week.
So it's always, so moral of the story, bring your son with you everywhere you go.
No.
Because he's obviously very observant.
He is good.
Yeah.
But because of him, that's how that whole trip came around. I wish it would have been better for me, but it was a great experience, and that's how my mind works, and that's how our business works. If you can stay sharp and you can think of things and be creative, you could steal a trip from a place that the guy maybe likes to go, but you could never get him, but you had something that was so unique.
That he
you know.
wanted to go there with you. And this
Right.
opportunity presented itself to you.
Yep, all because I had to go to wait in line to go to the bathroom.
And because your son pointed him out, right?
True.
Kudos to you. So that's a great story, and those are the exact empowering stories that we all need to hear, right? Because we all need to feel that literally we're touching you, touching Sarah, touching Laura, that whoever we're touching, we're 1 degree away from making a deal, right? You're 1 degree away
Correct.
waiting on a bathroom line, right? We're 1 degree away in this room. I heard about 4 different developments while I was at lunch. I mean, it's amazing.
But
Things I
that's
didn't
why I
know
come
about.
and speak to groups and folks like this.
A lot of
is
gamblers
because
in this room.
I'm not looking for
The
anyone.
gambling
Because if
with
there was a
their
lot of play,
livelihoods.
I'd
Yeah.
have a plane here in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But what I'm looking for, and you never know, is one of you all could be selling a home to Mick Jagger, and he goes, "Let's go celebrate. I want to go to Vegas." Now you know who to call. and set it up. So I never know where my next client's coming from. Last time I spoke for the Inman group, it was funny. I was in the green room, and there were two of the celebrity real estate, and they're like, "We know you," and I'm like, "Is that a good thing or a bad thing?" And they started to tell a story, and it was totally true. We had a player that we threw in jail because he didn't pay his marker.
Oh.
And it was a terrible, terrible mistake, I believe. So I flew to London to meet with him, and my boss was like, "He's never going to meet with you. We threw him in jail for 72 hours. And I said, "Let me take a shot at him." I flew to London. I brought him a beautiful watch, tried to break bread and make a relationship. Came back and lost $250,000.
Wow. That's a win for him.
Yeah, he didn't lose.
Jail and 250,000. Yeah.
But what's funny is the two gentlemen that are the celebrity, they went to Vegas with him because he went to one of my competitors, and they flew with him because they sold him a house, and they wanted to go party and celebrate, and they flew to Vegas, and I think he lost $3 million that trip.
Oh, wow.
Not to me.
Well, ending on a winning story here. Well, thank you so much. That's fascinating. I think our businesses are much more alike than they are different.
Yeah,
Right? Customer service, knowing when to knock on the door.
Build relationships.
Exactly.
If anything you take from my is just build relationships. Listen to your customers. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You'll learn so much more if you just listen to what they want instead of telling them what you think they want. And then the other thing I always say is, no men are created equal, or no players created equal.
And hopefully mostly lose.
They're all, differentiated by credit line.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much.